So what are some of the best tips out there that help you to be more productive and get more value from your time, your energy, and your efforts? Because those things are limited, right? This course is about being limitless. And if you haven't seen the previous lessons, definitely go and check them out because each one builds on the previous one. But let's get into the best tips that I've come across and things that I use myself. Now, human beings are social creatures, and often people forget to use this to their advantage when they're trying to be more productive. Perhaps it's because our society has enforced an individualism on us that, creates a silo where we think change only needs to happen in our corner. We need to do things alone, but it doesn't need to happen that way, and I wouldn't recommend it. It's a lot more fun when you do things together. So one of my favorite tips when it comes to productivity and building better habits is to join a mastermind. And there's all kinds of masterminds out there. If you've not heard of a mastermind before, then basically what it means is a group of people who come together and they share their goals for accountability and support. And over the years, I've run my own mastermind called the Leadership Academy, which I'll talk about in another video, but not today. And I've also been part of masterminds. And the benefit is this. The mastermind that I'm a part of right now, we have a 90-day challenge. And in that group, I've posted my own. In the next 90 days, my goal is to get to 100,000 subscribers and to be consistent with my diet. And I posted that this is my goal alongside a vision board of this is the vision I'm trying to create. So instead of holding that vision just in my head or even on my bedroom wall, I've shared it with people. And a couple of interesting things have already started to happen and will happen for you too if you do this. The first thing is people are now invested in your vision. They know where you're trying to go. So I got a couple of emails from people who are part of the Leadership Academy saying, hey Kesh, I know you're working on trying to get to this goal. Have you tried looking at this? Have you tried looking at this tool? And people have started to actively help me because they were a part of this kind of community. You can imagine the kind of individual it attracts in achieving that goal. The second thing, and this is the reason why I would encourage you to share in a mastermind, in a safe space, not just anywhere, in a safe space where you have the right people around you, your goals, because you're then more accountable. It becomes even more real. When I tell someone, I want to get to 100,000 subscribers, I want to turn pro, what happens is people are going to ask me how I'm getting on with that. And every time it's a little check like, hey, are you still doing that thing? Are you still being productive? And additionally, I've made myself accountable and taken responsibility for that. So many people, they are passive in their accountability. They wait for somebody to ask them the question, to check up on them. But you have to take ownership over that. And a mastermind is a fantastic way of doing that. One of my favorite keys when it comes to habits is starting rituals. They're very important. And one of the most powerful ones that I've come across that I use myself is the idea of when I'm trying to do a particular habit and I'm feeling a bit tired, I'm feeling a bit lazy, I can't really be bothered, I just say to myself, okay, 3, 2, 1, sprint. So I want to go to the gym. I'm thinking, shall I go today? Can I be bothered? Do I want to get out of bed? I know I need to take action. That voice in my head appears. It's like, you gotta keep doing it. You gotta be consistent. Ignore your feelings. Action over theory. 3, 2, 1, sprint. So anytime there is something that you're trying to do and you feel yourself slipping away and choosing that comfortable option, just say to yourself, 3 seconds is all I have to take action. I don't want to overthink it. 3, 2, 1, sprint, and just go all in. Commit totally. Close all the tabs on your browser. Turn your phone off. Throw it on the other side of the room without damaging it, and focus on what you need to get done, because time is not infinite. There are so many times you're going to get to go around this big ball of fire on this planet, and you never know when that time is going to be up, and you want to use it wisely, but in that moment you don't really feel like it. You're not going to be always 100% motivated. So sometimes you just got to take action. You just have to get things done. And a starting activation ritual is a very powerful way of doing that. Another thing I like to use is when I'm making my cup of coffee in the morning, that to me is I only drink coffee when I want to be productive. I don't just drink coffee as a social thing. For me, it gives me that focus, that little bit of extra boost to just get into what I'm doing. So that's my starting ritual, that I can smell the coffee bean, I can taste that bitter black coffee as it goes down into my stomach, and then I know that's time for me to get started. So I'm using that sensory experience I talked about in the previous lesson, which if you haven't seen, definitely go and check out, to help me to get the habit started that I want to do so I can be more productive. Sometimes it's not just about what you do, but where you are. A couple of years ago at Massachusetts General Hospital, they did a study. They wanted the patients using the canteen to make healthier choices when it came to drinks, rather than choosing the sugary, fizzy Coca-Colas and Pepsis and all those different things. They wanted more of them to buy water. They tried putting up signs, they tried doing little bits of advertising, sugary drinks are bad for you, water is healthy for you, but people know these things. They wanted to see, can we influence the choice that they make based on the way we've set this canteen up? And so what they did was very simple. They didn't pay more for advertising. They didn't make the headlines and the copy on those advertising posters more shocking, which is what you often see. They did something very simple, which you can use as well. They had more bottles of water stocked in the fridge. They had more bottles of water on little trolley stations. They just made water the easier option to pick than a sugary drink. They put the sugary drinks behind the water in the fridge. So when you reach down, the first thing you see is water. You can buy that can of Coca-Cola or lemonade or whatever it is that's filled with heaps and heaps of sugar, but you have to go to the back and you have to reach for it. So the lesson here is what? Make your default choice, your default option, the easiest thing and the most productive thing. So for example, you're a student or you're a business owner working from home. There's distractions around you. You got your laptop right there. You got your phone right there. And all it takes is for you to turn your head and get distracted. Well, what you can do, block Facebook, block your newsfeed, get rid of your phone, delete all the social media. So even when you look at it, the default option is I can listen to Audible, I can read a book, or I can go onto my Google Docs and take notes. I can study. Similarly, you might want to have your notepad out with the date written, the title of what you're going to revise written the night before. So when you wake up and you've done your morning routine, the first thing you have to do is just pick up the pen and start writing. You've made it that much easier because you've reduced the amount of time between you thinking about doing something and you actually doing it. When I've been at my most productive and when I am at my most productive, everything is set up. It's pre-arranged for me. So all I have to do is get into the seat, get into the spot and start working, start hustling, start putting in the work that I need to. So use your environment and the design of your room, the area that you study in, the area that you work in, even you getting to the gym. Put your clothes for the gym on the night before. So when you wake up, you literally have your shoes right next to your bed. So the first thing you do is put your shoes on, and now the next thing you're doing is you're going for a run. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, and then literally sprint. Now, when it comes to choices, sometimes you also got to close the door. You got to seal it shut with cement so there's no way out. And I use this in my example earlier. I talked about the accountability of a mastermind. Well, sometimes one of the mistakes that I see people make is leaving a room for them to escape. Leaving a little window on the side where if they're not accountable, if they're not going to stick to that goal, it's okay. But what if you gave yourself no way out? And what I mean by that is, with the example of the Leadership Academy, everyone when they join has a 90-day challenge and they create a forfeit. My forfeit was, for every single person that likes this post, I will give you £1,000 if I ever miss a day. And every day I must post a screenshot of how my progress is going, whether I checked in or not, with my consistency, with my habits. And as I progress on my goals, This is stuff I'm using all the time myself right now. I'm not telling you anything that I'm not doing myself, or I'm not getting other people to do myself. There is no way that I can escape. And also I'm continually making it more difficult. I'm continually stretching myself to be more productive and build better habits. And so create a no way out clause. There's a great story from Greek mythology of Ulysses, who was going to get some treasure from an island. I'm keeping that story short. And he knew he was going to encounter the sirens, who sang this beautiful melody and would entice soldiers through the beauty of their song and their looks to turn their ship towards the rocky shores. And so they would crash and die. So Ulysses knew that I'm going to be tempted. You are going to be tempted to sabotage your success. You're going to, I'm telling you right now. So now that you know that, you want to plan for that sabotage. You want to factor it into your planning and make it so that you're not going to do that. And what Ulysses did, he tied himself, he got his men to tie him to the mast of his ship. So even when he heard it, even when his head was turned, and he wanted to turn in the opposite direction, away from his goal, his destination that he needed to get to, he couldn't do anything. He couldn't physically sabotage himself. So factor that in, create a fail-safe mechanism with your productivity, with your habits, so that you have no choice but to stay on course. Because you're going to try, you're gonna get tempted. And so if you get rid of all the chocolate donuts in your fridge and you stop buying cookies, you know you can't eat junk food to sabotage your diet. If you've paid a personal trainer, you know you have to show up at the gym. If you've paid somebody to keep you accountable, you know you gotta stick to it. Create those fail-safe systems and you'll stay on track. Your goals don't always have to be these huge hairy monsters that you need to conquer. Sometimes the power of the compound effect is a much more achievable and desirable goal. So Dave Brailsford, when he was working with the British cycling team, he just focused on making 1% improvements in every area. So he made the tires 1% lighter. He made the seat 1% lighter. And overall, that created the compound effect of a better time. And the British cycling team at the Olympics in London, they won gold. And you can use the same process, the same concept in your own life. You don't need to have a massive goal. Focus on a specific micro element. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, how can you be 1 to 4% more productive? Tell me in the comments below, what could you do to set yourself up before you go to bed to be 1 to 4% more focused, 1 to 4% better with your habits and more productive overall? And then just do that day in, day out, and already you've had a much better week and you have the power of momentum. And going off of this, your morning routine is key. If you start strong, you have a much better chance of finishing strong. Sometimes we leave things, quite often in fact, to the last minute. We leave ourselves with too much to do at the end, whereas if you start with the first 2 hours of your day and you get the chunkiest, most disgusting frog of a task to eat done at the beginning, and I'm referencing Brian Tracy's book, Eat That Frog here, you're going to be more productive for the rest of the day. So you know that when your energy wanes and it's like 3 o'clock and you've just had lunch and you're tired, it's okay because you've got the most important thing done. And knowing what that is and prioritizing it is key to building better habits and being more productive. So those are my tips for building better habits, getting that discipline in, and being productive. Now, make sure you comment down below. Make sure you subscribe so you get notified. You've clicked that bell and joined the notification squad. And like I said, focus on implementing these things. Look at the starting ritual that you need to create. Join a mastermind. Give yourself no way out. And use these tips to create habits so that you can create a better life for yourself. Accept only the best and nothing less. And I'll see you in the next video in this limitless series. Peace.